Have you ever wondered how a simple man can rise to power during the most desperate of times? Let's journey back to an era of ancient Egypt, where the tale of Joseph, a man of humble beginnings, unfolds. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the video. Joseph, a young man sold into slavery by his brothers, found himself in the court of Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt. Known for his ability to interpret dreams, Joseph was summoned before Pharaoh, who was troubled by a recurring dream. A dream of 7 fat cows being devoured by 7 lean ones, 7 plump heads of grain swallowed by 7 thin and blasted ones. Joseph, with divine insight, interpreted Pharaoh's dreams as a prophecy. 7 years of abundance were to grace the land of Egypt, followed by 7 years of severe famine. The lean cows and the thin heads of grain were a warning of the harsh times to come. Impressed by Joseph's wisdom, Pharaoh saw in him a strategic thinker, a man capable of not just foreseeing the future but also planning for it. And so he was appointed as the governor of Egypt, the second most powerful man in the land. Joseph, now a man of authority, wasted no time. He leveraged the 7 years of abundance to gather as much grain as possible, storing it in the cities. He understood that the prosperity was not to last and that these reserves would be the lifeline for the people of Egypt during the years of famine. As the years of abundance gave way to the years of famine, Joseph's foresight proved invaluable. Egypt stood strong amidst the famine, all thanks to Joseph's strategic planning and the grain reserves he had accumulated. People from all around came to Egypt seeking sustenance during these hard times, and Joseph was there to provide. From a prisoner to the second most powerful man in Egypt, Joseph's tale is one of resilience and faith, a testament to the power of foresight, strategic planning, and the belief in divine guidance. But his story doesn't end here. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the life of this remarkable man. What lengths would you go to protect your family in times of dire need? This question rings true as we delve into the second chapter of our journey. Joseph's brothers in Egypt. The famine that had swept across Egypt had also tightened its grip on the land of Canaan, the home of Joseph's brothers. Survival instincts kicked in, and the brothers embarked on a journey to Egypt, the only place known to them where grain was still available. Imagine their surprise when they found themselves standing before the man in charge of Egypt's grain supply, their brother, Joseph, who they had sold into slavery all those years ago. But they did not recognize him. He was no longer the young boy they had betrayed. He was now a man of great authority. Joseph, on the other hand, recognized them instantly. However, he did not reveal his true identity. The reunion was not one of immediate joy and reconciliation. Instead, Joseph decided to test his brothers to see if they had changed from the men who had sold their own sibling out of jealousy. Joseph accused them of being spies, a charge they vehemently denied. He imprisoned them for 3 days and then sent them back to Canaan with instructions to return with their youngest brother Benjamin. This was Joseph's way of ensuring the safety of Benjamin, his only full brother, who he feared might have suffered the same fate as him. The brothers returned to Egypt with Benjamin, and Joseph was moved to tears at the sight of his younger brother. He still did not reveal his identity, but he treated them kindly, providing them with more grain and sending them back home. But Joseph had one more test up his sleeve, a test that would finally reveal whether his brothers had truly changed. In this chapter of the story, we see a unique blend of emotions: fear, regret, hope, and ultimately love. The love that binds a family together, even when they are far apart, even when they have wronged each other. Family ties ingrained deep within our hearts can stir the most profound emotions, as illustrated by Joseph's encounter with his brothers. How far would you travel to reunite with a lost loved one? Let's imagine the journey of Jacob, an old man who, upon hearing the stunning news that his beloved son Joseph, long thought dead, was in fact alive and well in Egypt, embarks on an extraordinary journey. This was no ordinary journey. It was a sojourn filled with anticipation and hope, yet shadowed by the uncertainties of the unknown. Jacob, together with his family and all his possessions, set out from Canaan towards Egypt. Imagine the emotional turmoil he must have felt, the mixture of joy and trepidation. He was about to see his son after decades of separation, a son he had mourned, a son he had lost, now found. Upon arrival in Egypt, what an emotional reunion it must have been. A father bent with age and a son, now a powerful man in Egypt, meet after years of longing and separation. Their heartfelt reunion was a poignant moment, a testament to their enduring love that had survived the trials of time and circumstance. But Jacob's journey to Egypt wasn't merely about a father-son reunion. It was also about legacy, about passing on blessings to the next generation. Jacob, in his wisdom and foresight, bestowed a special blessing upon Joseph's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. He acknowledged them as his own, ensuring that they would carry on the lineage and the blessings of their forefathers. Jacob's story is one of resilience and faith. It's a tale of a father's love that transcends boundaries, a love that emboldens him to undertake a daunting journey to see his son. It's a story of a patriarch who, in the twilight of his life, imparts blessings to his grandsons, securing their place in the annals of their family's history. The reunion of Jacob and Joseph is a testament to the enduring power of love and forgiveness. Their story serves as a reminder that no journey is too long, no obstacle too great when it comes to reuniting with those we hold dear. What legacy would you want to leave behind? This is a question that each of us ponders at some point in our lives. For Jacob, the patriarch of a burgeoning nation, his legacy was a blessing that would shape the destiny of his descendants for generations to come. In the twilight of his life, Jacob gathered his sons around his deathbed. He was not just their father, but also a prophet, seeing into the future of each of his sons and the tribes they would found. His words were not just well wishes, they were prophecies, shaping the destiny of the 12 tribes of Israel. As he laid his hands on each son, his words painted a picture of their future. Reuben, his firstborn, would not excel due to his impulsive nature. Simeon and Levi would be scattered in Israel because of their wrath. Judah, however, would rise as a leader, his brothers bowing down to him. Each son received a unique blessing, a prophecy that would shape their lineage. With his final breath, Jacob requested to be buried with his forefathers in the land of Canaan in the cave of Machpelah. He was not just asking for a burial site, but symbolically linking the future of his children to the promise God made to Abraham, his grandfather. And then Jacob breathed his last. His sons mourned him for 70 days, a period filled with sorrow and remembrance. They journeyed to Canaan, fulfilling their father's last wish, and there, in the cave of Machpelah, they buried him. The death of a patriarch is always a profound moment for any family, any nation. It's a time of transition, of passing the baton to the next generation, but for the sons of Jacob it was also a time of stepping into the destinies prophesied by their father. Even in death, Jacob's legacy continues to shape the lives of his descendants. How do you want to be remembered after you're gone? This is a question that Joseph, a key figure in the book of Genesis, might have asked himself in his final years. As he neared the end of his life in Egypt, his thoughts turned towards his homeland and the promise of God's deliverance. Joseph had lived a long and eventful life, from being sold into slavery by his brothers to rising to become the second most powerful man in Egypt. His journey had been marked by trials and triumphs. But as he neared the end, he made a request that was a testament to his faith and his roots. He asked that his bones be carried from Egypt and buried in the land of his forefathers. This wasn't just a personal wish. It was a statement of belief in God's promise, a promise made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, a promise that the Israelites would one day be delivered from Egypt and brought back to the land that God had promised to give them. By asking to be buried in his homeland, Joseph was expressing his unwavering faith in this divine promise. Joseph's death marked the end of an era, but it was not the end of the story. His life, his faith, and his final request continued to resonate with the generations that followed. For the Israelites, Joseph's request was a beacon of hope, a reminder of the divine promise of deliverance. And so Joseph's life came to an end, but his legacy lived on. His bones, carried out of Egypt and laid to rest in the promised land, served as a symbol of the enduring faith and the hope of deliverance that would sustain the Israelites in the years to come. Joseph's death marks the end of an era, but the promise of a future deliverance gives hope to the generations to come.